समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् So we start verse 10 today and read it. मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरं हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते. Under me as supervisor, Prakriti produces the moving and the unmoving. Because of this, O Kaunteya, the world revolves. Here the world revolves. He using the word revolves, parivartate. That means all changes take place in the world. All happenings happen in the world because of him, because of the supreme reality, because of the pure consciousness. And he says, Sacharacharam, Char and Achar is the living and the non-living. Those that show life and those that do not show life. In both, he says, all the changes that take place, their birth, their death, their change, and everything that happens in Prakriti happens because of me. And he has used the word supervisor. He says Maya Adhyaksha. Adhyaksha is the word used. Huh? Adhyaksha is president if you translate into English. Now, see, the president is the most powerful, and the president, under the president's signature, only laws are passed. Okay, even in companies or corporates or institutions and all that, unless the president okays and the president signs it, you cannot do anything. Now, and it seems that the president is sitting helplessly in a meeting, and you can do anything at all so long he is there. But if he decides to get up and walk out, then the meeting, after that, the meeting stands disbanded. The meeting is stopped, and nothing can happen after that. Similarly, in life, he is the president. He is the president, and under his supervision, because of his power, because of his presence, everything else, uh, it lends power to everything else. Everything is enlivened by his presence. That's what he means to say over here. Huh? It is a still, he doesn't do anything. Again, please, I'm repeating what last talk was, that he doesn't do anything actively. He has no motive. It is by his sheer presence, which in the Geeta Krishna also says sanidhya matrena kaunteya. He says sanidhya, that means closeness. His presence alone energizes, activates, dynamizes, lends life to anything that happens in this world. And so he says over here, that is what he's saying, Kaunteya, the world revolves because of me. Nature here, over here, Prakriti is the word used. So nature over here means the unmanifest reality, unmanifest. And because you cannot see it, you think that you are doing. The confusion is because you cannot see it, it is unmanifest. But again, even if you apply the law of science to it, that nothing moves unless there is a force behind it, isn't it? This is a scientific law. Everybody in physics knows this law. Yeah? Okay. So nothing moves unless there is a force behind it. And Vedanta says again and again that if you put flesh, bones, marrow, blood, whatever else is there in your body in a bundle on the floor, can it move? So, what is the force? You have to think about this, that even if you put your thumb on your pulse, it is beating. Are you making it beat? No, you are not making it beat. Even when you are fast asleep and your heart is beating, through the night it is beating, through the day it is beating, are you making an effort for it to beat? Or is it beating because you are thumping it? No, you are not. The blood is circulating in your body. The breath is being drawn in and drawn out. All the systems of the body, the digestive system, circulatory system, this, that, and the other, are all working because there is a force that is moving them. Scientific, again. One, if you are honestly scientific, think, what is that force? And here the Lord is saying that it is me alone. It is me in my presidency. I lend my power, and so things work, things happen. And taking their power from me, borrowing their strength from me, borrowing the dynamism from me, it is me alone that is causing this world to revolve. Revolve doesn't mean go round and round over here, though it does mean, but the word used is parivartan. So parivartit means keeps changing, keeps changing, keeps changing. So here it is. This is very well depicted also in the great picture of Maharas. Bhagavad में जो Maharas है, that again I gave you the same example in my last talk also, that Krishna is the unmoving center. You see the paintings of Maharas, Krishna standing in the middle with his flute. All the gopis are dancing, and there is one Krishna dancing with the gopis, right? Now it is not that Krishna has photocopied himself. The gopis have photocopied Krishna in their minds. Krishna is standing in the center playing the flute. The dancing Krishna, whom every gopi thinks that is dancing with him, is this power center. This, what he calls the president. You know, he is the one who makes it move. He is the one who energizes every gopi to dance, to run from a home and come and dance. So this is the picture of the Maharas. Again, take the example of the sun as I gave you last time. The sun energizes beings, birds, animals, humans, plants, every bit of vegetation. A flower opens to the sun. The sun does not come and pull the petal aside. The flower starts opening on its own when the sun rises. So the sun energizes it, not actively, but by its mere presence. Okay? So this is one thing. Now it is also, see, in many Upanishads it is called the Purusha, and the Prakriti that gets energized is called Prakriti. Then natural forces that get energized are the now देखो, another thing which is very interesting, we are all the time confused between the two. The moving body seems to be alive, and that which does not move at all is the one that causes the movement. Carefully. Again, same example as I give, electricity. Electricity does not move. but it makes the fan move. The fan has no movement in itself, but by the sheer presence of electricity, sanidhya matrena, when it contacts electricity, the fan moves. So movement is caused by the unmoving, by its sheer presence. Okay, let's come to the next verse. अवजानन्ति मां मूढा मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितं परं भावमजानन्तः मम भूतमहेश्वरम्. It says, fools disregard me when I dwell in human form, my higher being, as the great Lord of beings, they know it not. So he is using the uh, harsh word fools. He says moodha, moodha. Moodha means fool. And Gurudev used to very nicely say that you are not only moodha, हम लोगों से कहते थे, you are not only moodha, but you are vimoodha. Somebody who's done a doctorate in stupidity, he used to say, is called vimoodha. So many times in the Geeta, this word also comes, कि विमूढ़, हाँ, कि विमूढ़ लोग नहीं जानते. Here he just says मूढ़, so that is a blessing. Fools disregard me when I dwell in human form. Now, when I dwell in human form, he is the closest to you, he is the nearest to you, he is energizing you, and yet you know him not. So then, what are you? Are you intelligent or are you foolish? Very clearly you can see that the body is dead matter. The entire body is dead matter. The beauty, the charm, the intelligence, huh, the brightness, the glow on the face, everything is because of his presence. And yet we do not see it. So isn't that foolish? So he says, disregard me when I dwell in human form. My higher being means the Purusha, the pure self, huh? As the great Lord of beings, they know it not. Now, that great Lord of beings is the one that is doing everything. And yet, because of whom everything is done, and yet they know it no. Huh? So Gurudev used to say that he is so close to you that people say God doesn't take care of me, God has forsaken me. And Gurudev used to say, if you say that, then we will have to bury you or we will have to burn you. Because if God forsakes you, my dear, you are just dead flesh. That's all you are. So don't ever say that God has forsaken me. He never forsakes you. He is with you. That is the reason you breathe. That is the reason you move. That is the reason you blink or you see or you talk or you hear or you smell or you taste. Otherwise, the body can do nothing. Just nothing. So, so then another one thing is that you see, in this whole thing, what people do is that they consider the body to be the Lord. They say, where is God? Have you seen God? There is no God. People talk like this. Okay, have you seen? You have to ask them, have you seen gravity? No. So there is no gravity. There is no gravity. Acha, do you see air? No, you don't see air. So there is no air. Hmm? And like that, there are so many things which you see which are not there, and so many things that you don't see but they are there. So then, how can you say that they don't exist? There are so many things you just see only with a telescope. Your eye is not capable of seeing so many things which are there. You see them under a telescope or you see them under very, very powerful telescopes when you see the planets and the stars and all that. So then, if you consider the body to be him, फिर आपने क्या किया? हीरे की जगह कांच उठा लिया. That is what you have done. Recognize what is the most precious thing in your being. If you have an eye of wisdom, Jnana Chakshu, you will be able to decipher immediately that this body of flesh and bones and all is not what is the reality, is not what is working. And he is the one who is dwelling in every form, in every being. It is he himself who is dwelling. Now, also, see, you worship idols. Gurudev in his commentary has given it deep, so it needs explanation. Many people are against idol worship. They say, why do you worship idols? Also, understand that many of the Upanishads write this very clearly, that I am not what you worship in this world. They have written it clearly. I am not what you worship. So, what do we worship? We worship pictures of the Lord. We worship symbols. कहीं शिवलिंग है, क्रॉस है, काबा है, ग्रंथ साहब है, बुक है, कहीं कुछ है. But these are what? You worship them because they symbolize the ultimate reality. And therefore they are holy for you. They're just symbols. The Om, Omkar, you worship. Why? Because it symbolizes the ultimate reality. And therefore, they become holy, they become, the intellect lends a purity to that. And the intellect starts worshipping it. Anything that you value, the symbol you start worshipping. Now, see, Gurudev used to give the example of the flag. He used to say the flag is a few yards of silk. That's all it is. But when the flag is put up, everybody rises in respect. Every country salutes its flag. All the people of that country salute that flag. It is only a cloth. Think about it. But it is a symbol. It is a symbol of that country's glory. It is a symbol of the country's pride. It is a national symbol. You honor that symbol, respect that symbol. Again, another example, your parents' picture. Supposing somebody tears the picture, throws it down, and stamps on it. Oh my God, how hurt you are, how horrible you feel about it. But if you come to think of it, that is only paper, bromide paper, whatever it's called, that it is paper. So a cross is only wood, a shivling is only stone, Granth Sahib is paper. अरे भाई क्या बात कर, you know, it is not these things. It is the feeling that you have projected onto it as a symbol of the Lord Himself. And so we carry these holy books. Even Bhagavad is carried on the head. Granth Sahib is carried on the head. Vedas are carried on the head. They are books. So think about it. So it is this, huh? Now, the same is with the worship of the idols. Rama, Krishna, Jesus, or Buddha, or whatever it is, you have projected divinity on stone. You have projected divinity on wood or on metal or whatever that idol is made of, right? And then uh, uh, even the Guru, even the worship of the Guru, people say, why are you worshipping another human being? You are also a human being. Why are you worshipping another human being? You are seeing the play of the Lord through that teacher. So when you are worshipping the teacher in any religion, when you are worshipping the teacher, you are truly worshipping the Lord Himself, who is projecting, who is projecting the thoughts, the speech, and everything and reaching out to you. The teacher cannot even teach without His grace. You cannot learn without His grace. Your intellect and mind is working because of Him. The teacher's intellect and mind and speech is working because of Him. So what are you worshipping? You are bowing to the Lord Himself. So another, but again, very clearly, you should know that this is a symbol. Even when you are worshipping a stone, murti, shivling, whatever, you have to all the time be conscious that this is a stone. This is not that reality. From that stone, lift your mind higher. Don't get stuck there. Those who get stuck with the idol, they commit a very big mistake. There is sanctity in the idol, sure there is. So just like that, there is sanctity in me, there is sanctity in you, there is sanctity in every human being in the world. That's for sure. But understand that it is what is inside, what you have projected on the idol, that is what you are worshipping. Huh. So don't mistake the means for the end. The end is the pure consciousness, the ultimate Lord Himself. Worshipping an idol of any sort is just the means. So it can be a silk flag, it can be a stone symbol, it can be a wood symbol, it can be a paper symbol, anything at all. Okay. Now, uh, okay, so then, acha, the Lord says that He comes to a generation in a form, in any given form, He comes. So people start worshipping that form. Any prophet, any God who takes birth, people start worshipping Him, people start revering Him because they project the Lord in His form. So ultimately, they are worshipping the Lord Himself, not the form. Come to the next. We do the next two verses together. Moghasha mogha karmanah mogha jnana vichetasah rakshasim asurim chaiva prakritim mohinim shritaha. It says of vain hopes. Mogha means vain, useless, which are meaningless, which have got no utility. Of vain hopes, of vain actions, of vain knowledge, and senseless, they verily are possessed of the delusive nature of Rakshasas and Asuras. Now, see one thing before we do these two verses, I have to tell you. Krishna very often in the Gita has used a juxtaposition. Juxtaposition facing two opposites side by side. Okay. Now here, what are the two opposites? Rakshasi Prakriti and Sakshari Prakriti. Sakshara, the word is opposite of Rakshasa. देखो हिंदी में लिख के साक्षर राक्षस तो वो उल्टा हो जाता है. Now this has come from the word akshara. Akshara, you know, sound syllable, sound syllable, yeah. A person who is educated is called sakshara, जिसको अक्षर का ज्ञान है. हाँ? Who is, sa means with. So who is with akshara, that means who is literate, who is educated, he is called sakshara. Someone who is opposite of that, who is uneducated in the true sense of the word, who is valueless, without culture, without decency, totally animal in spirit, he is called Rakshasa, the opposite of Sakshara. ठीक है? तो वो यहाँ कह रहे हैं, first he is describing to you the Rakshasa. Rakshasa. He says Moghasha. Moghasha क्या है? Vain desires, vain hopes. Those hopes bring you nothing. All क्या? Vain actions. Hopes get translated into actions. Because if you desire something, you will work for it. When you work for it, and you are working for something that is hopeless, that is meaningless, then your actions also become meaningless, isn't it? They are also useless. So, mog asha, mog karma. Karmas also become useless. And moga jnana, he says moga jnana because even knowledge keeps analyzing itself and keeps changing itself. It goes on changing its own analysis. Have you seen science? Huh. First, they tell you that ghee is very bad for you. है ना? And it's very bad. And then, it clogs the arteries and you'll get a heart attack and this will happen, that will happen. Now, again, they've started telling you that no, a little bit of ghee is good for you. First, they'll tell you wine is bad for you. Research shows, they're the three magic words. Research has shown. The moment you hear research has shown, you believe it blindfoldedly. Okay, which research? Where did you conduct the research? On whom did you conduct the research? What are the findings? None of it is known. So, three magic words. Research has shown wine is bad for you. Abhi kya hai? Research has shown little wine is good for you. What do you believe now? Now, isn't this Moga Jnana? This is Moga Jnana. First they say one thing, then they say another thing. First they bring out a medicine, then they tell you, no, this medicine has great after effects and is very bad for you. Then they change it again, So it is all a game of profit making by pharmaceutical companies. So medical research, a whole lot of it is valueless. What is the value? Economic gain, financial gain. So it is mog jnana and vichetasa. Vichetasa क्या है? Senseless. चेत नहीं है उसमें, इंटेलेक्ट से काम नहीं है. So it is a senseless kind of a thing. और क्या है ये values? राक्षसी और असुरी, दो उन्होंने वर्ड्स यूज करें, राक्षस एंड असुर. देखो, सुर एंड असुर आर ऑपोजिट्स. सुर इज देवता, असुर इज राक्षस. Now, Sakshara and Rakshasa are also two opposite words. तो ये है. Sakshara is those endowed with Akshara, endowed with education, education in the true sense of the word, where a man is developed into a spiritual, cultural, educated, highly educated, scientific thinking being, human being, who has got compassion, who has got spirituality, all the good qualities, generosity, all that. And Rakshasa is a selfish person, or this is a selfish person, totally living on animal instincts. And animal instincts, Vasanas expresses animal instincts in a Rakshasa. He just acts on animal instinct. If he wants to kill somebody, he will not think twice, he will just go and kill. If he wants to tear someone apart, he wants to snatch something, he wants to rob something, he will do it without thinking, total with an impulse and with instinctual behavior. His intellect is totally blown off. He has no discrimination at all. So he is at an animal level. And there are hordes and hordes and hordes of human beings who are at this animal level. And they look like human beings, but they are in fact animal in nature, and therefore they are called Rakshasa. Gurudev used to say, it is a pity that you do not have a tail. And if you have a tail, just keep wagging it and keep lying in the ditch. And he says, such people are full of sorrows. Such people are full of depressions. Such are the people who get mental illnesses mostly. And such are the people because they are so much under the pressure of their own desires, their own fears, their own selfishness, that they contact a lot and lot of diseases. Now, the next verse gives you the opposite. Hmm. This is the Mahatmas. Mahatmas are great souls possessed of divine qualities, possessed of literacy, possessed of very high education, discrimination, compassion, and all those qualities are there in them. These are the people who understand. I'm quoting from Albert Schweitzer. He says, success is not the key to happiness, but happiness is the key to success. This thing is something to think about. People think that if I get material success, I will be happy. That is a total misnomer. Total misnomer. It is the happiness in the human being himself which is the success. If you are not happy, how can you call yourself successful? The purpose of this human life is to be happy. So, no matter what you gain, if you are not happy, that's a sad story. That's a total failure of all. ये सारा जो है ना मोग आशा, मोग कर्मणा, मोग ज्ञान, all these things that you have acquired are useless if they do not grant happiness to you. So the ultimate goal being happiness, don't mistake it for material objects. Material objects have no happiness resides within these material objects. Now, you start giving sanctity to wealth, you start giving sanctity to material objects, and expect that they will love you in return or they will bring love and happiness to you in return. That is totally wrong. In fact, more than nothing, Mog Asha Mog Karmana always brings about war, court cases, selfishness, hatred, fights between the family members. That is all that comes with materialistic thinking. There is a fall in the values, there is selfishness, and all the rest of it. This is all asuri sampatti. ठीक है? Now, एक चीज समझना, this is a psychological fact. Desires generate thoughts. Whatever is your desire, that will generate your thoughts. Those same kind of thoughts will come in your mind, what your desires are. And thoughts are the ones that order actions. They are the ones that are responsible for your actions. As you think, so you do. And as you think, so you become. Acha. So then, how are desires and thoughts formed? Because then it's a dangerous game. Unless and until desires and thoughts are formed beautifully well, you are bound to act foolishly and stupidly. Okay? You think that by money you can purchase love. You think by money you can purchase anything at all in the world. It is not true. It is not true. There are certain things you can possess material things with money, but you cannot possess health with money, you cannot possess love with money, you cannot buy spirituality with money, you cannot. Okay, now here, see, the actions you do, they and the thoughts you think after that leave a residue in your mind called desires, called thoughts, thought patterns. Now, how do those thoughts form? They form through all your senses. When you are viewing something, when you are smelling something, hearing something, tasting something, you generate thoughts. आपने टीवी पे कुछ देखा, वो आपका माइंड रिपीट करता है या नहीं करता? That is viewing and hearing. You have listened to some horrible things. That will constitute your mind. You have smelled some great perfume, and the desire for to buy that perfume is generated, isn't it? You have tasted something very nice, huh? So then, Italian ice cream, Belgian ice cream, falani. So then when you taste those, then the desire for those arises. And those that have had quality ice cream, or those that have had mother dairy ice cream, they say nothing like that. All your Belgian ice cream and your Italian ice cream is nothing compared to these. So then your idea, your parameter, your paradigm is mother dairy ice cream or quality ice cream, and said Vadilal ice cream, or then whatever. So the thing is that you rate it according to what you think is good. Now, how these thoughts are generated, I have told you, by viewing things, hearing things, smelling things, tasting things. You want to go, whatever you have experienced, you want to do again. You want to buy that, you want to get that, you want to hear it, you want to see it, and all that. Hmm? So understand you have to be very, very careful of your indriyas. All the intake from the indriyas will condition your desires, and those desires will condition your speech, your thoughts, and both these things will condition your actions. They will be accordingly. So whether you become a Mahatma or you become a criminal depends on you yourself. The Lord is only energizing you. So negative things will take you to negative Rakshasa culture, and positive things will take you to a Sakshara culture or to a Sura culture. Now he says that the single pointed thoughts of a Mahatma take him to me. You are, if you single pointedly think of the Lord, you are all the time thinking of him as residing in every person, in every human being. How can you not love all the human beings if you love the Lord? If you do not, if you are not able to see the Lord in every human being, then can you say that you love the Lord? You don't love the Lord because you're not able to see him. He is the divine source, the divine principle in every being that is. And the Lord says that my devotee should worship, respect, and love every human being. Have you ever in any literature seen socialism like this? Gurudev terms it as spiritual socialism, which is in the Geeta. It is even in the Bible. Love thy neighbor as thyself is the same thing as this. Same thing as this. That unless you love every human being, or you understand that every human being, the the driving force in every human being is the Lord himself, and that Lord I love, and so the human being also I love. So because it preaches love for all, this is what is known as spiritual socialism. And like this, nowhere in the world, so sadhana is that which teaches you to respect everyone, to love everyone, to treat everyone as best as yourself. Love thy neighbor as thyself, this kind of a thing. So he says, great souls worship me with a single pointed mind. The next verse will tell you how that is easily done. We'll do it next time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.